What'd you like about your defense? I mean, run defense seemed to be very improved. 41 yards for the game and 7 yards in the second half. What'd you like out of the run defense? The overall performance of the group.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the staples going into the game. That they had been rushing for, I want to say, right around 180 yards a game against really good opponents. Did against A&M. So going into the game, we felt like that had to be the first priority, right? And it was really good early on. I felt like we fit the run well, and they, at that point they stopped running. They stopped running the ball as we got closer to halftime. Maybe because we were up by 14, whatever the circumstances were. But I felt like our run fits and our run defense was really good. That was a positive. We did some things that, I think we're making strides. You could point to, 7 points in the second half. You could point to better run fits. You could point to third and fourth downs on some big critical stops, turnovers at the right time. So I think we're making steps in the right direction. Obviously, we still have a lot to clean up and improve on. And it was also good when the game was on the line that we were able to, make a stop at the end to shut it down. So happy with the result. Never happy overall with the total performance in terms of things that we can get better at. But again, I feel like every week we're making strides in the right direction.
Was there anything in particular about the run defense that stood out to you? Was it just fitting it better, executing what you wanted better?
Well, I was really proud of our corners, first of all, because Miami's a team that makes the corners tackle. So we went into the game and we wanted to make sure that our corners were fitting the run. We knew that they were going to crack the safeties, make the corners, make some tackles. That happened early on. And I thought our linebacker fits were great. I thought our defensive line was really firm in terms of being able to, set double teams and not get moved off the ball. Miami had some very talented offensive linemen, and they were able to move everybody else off the ball in the run game that they played. And I thought our guys took the challenge well. I feel like it's starting with our defensive tackles, being able to set the points in there where they weren't getting knocked off the ball. And then our linebackers did a great job of fitting. And I think that probably the reps are starting to build up now, and we've probably seen just about everything we can see in the run game. So we're getting a little bit better comfort level with where to fit, how to fit, and things of that nature. So it was really good to see, and I think it's a great building block. When you hold a team to 40 yards rushing or 42 yards rushing, whatever the number was, you're doing something right. So again, I think, stopping the run in every game we play in, it's the number one issue at the beginning of every game. So again, building on little things, building on things that were good. I was really proud of our guys for that.
On the goal line stand, they got to the 5, just inside the 5, and looked down there, and Keyshawn Silver's in the game. Hadn't played a whole lot, and then he makes those 2 plays. Makes a big play on the first one. He was a part of the second one as well. What had he been doing to earn the opportunity to be in that position, and what did you think of him making that play?
Well, Keyshawn's been coming along in practice, and it was hot down there. It was humid, so we started substituting the interior defensive lineman early in the game. So before that goal line stand, he was actually in there in the, second or third series as well. And we have to be able to do that, with Ray out. We have to build up, we have bodies that, defensive line-wise, they need to be part of a rotation. And Keyshawn's one of those guys, and he's been practicing every week and coming on every week. And so it was really good. When we got to the goal line package, we put him over the center. He's a big body, and he's hard to move. So that was by design. But it started with the rotation just in general that we felt like we had to use in the game. And young guys like Keyshawn came in there and played well. Travis Shaw was in there. Keyshawn Silver was in there. So those guys were all part of the rotation early. And they just need to keep coming on in practice. They're young guys who are talented. They're big frame guys. And we need them. This is a long season. So it was good to see those guys pop up. It was good to see that while they were in there, they were productive. And they just need to keep coming on as young guys.
You said in August that you wanted to be at a point where if you're in a situation the team has the ball inside the 5 or the 10, that you can rotate new guys on the defensive front and have trust that they're going to make plays. Are you really close to being there, or is that a sign that you are there?
I think we're getting close. You can go back to the Notre Dame game when we were inside the 5-yard line. We had some really good stops in there. We did it again Saturday. We've got big enough bodies to throw down in there that they're hard to move. And I think we're gaining confidence down there in how we play. I wish we weren't down there as much, but when we're down there, I think that we're doing a good job not getting moved off the ball. I think we're doing a good job at penetrating, and that was a huge stop for our defense. It was a huge stop for confidence. It was a huge stop for players that were in there, young guys that were in there that were part of that. And that was a huge momentum swing. So good to see it. I think we're getting better in some of our run defense, just in general. But definitely down there in the goal line, I think we've played good football down there. So we're making strides. Again, I think we're just taking steps in the right direction in stopping the run, which will be critical for this week, right? I mean, that's what it's going to be about this week. Duke does a really good job of stopping the run, but I think the confidence and some of the young guys getting to play, I think it's huge.
Gene, you guys have given up 7 points in the last 2 second halves combined. Obviously every game is different, but what is a halftime like for you? How much tinkering and adjusting do you do on a normal halftime?
We do some. A lot of times halftime is about going back and showing them what's happening and not necessarily creating something new. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just going back and showing, hey, when we weren't good, this is what happened, and this is where we have to adjust it. And so, it happens differently at halftime, but, halftime is about getting clarity on what's happened, as well as, here's how we're going to tweak a couple things to change it in the second half. And we do quite a bit of that.
Any players really stand out to you that you think saw some improvement in this game that jumped off the screen after reviewing tape?
Yeah, Power Eccles and Cedric Gray jump off the tape every time you watch them. They're just two guys that they love football. They're into it. They see the game. They play fast. They play physical. Again, starting with the run fits, I thought they were excellent, early in the game. Those two for sure. I thought Dre Boykins, again, obviously the big interception at the end, a sack at a critical moment. He's really starting to show up every week. Proud to see that. And really, if you look at the defensive line, I thought Des Evans really stood out. I thought Des had a really, really good game, maybe his best game in critical moments, making big plays. But he always plays hard. But he was productive Saturday. And then, with Ray out, I thought KJ Hester did a heck of a job. And when he was in there, he was getting off blocks. He was holding firm and setting the point of the defense. We did a good job rotating, I feel like, defensive line to make sure that he kept fresh in the heat and the humidity. But I thought he did a really nice job as well. So we're starting to get 4, 5, 6 guys every week that we feel like are stepping up to the plate. We need some more guys to come on as well, but those guys would stand out.
Gene, when you look at what Duke brings to the table, obviously having Riley with playing a quarterback, he's someone that's been dangerous with his legs. We've seen it a lot of times off the scrambles and a couple times with the design run. What's sort of your game plan going into this game? Obviously, you guys have faced a little bit of running quarterbacks over the course of the year, but maybe not quite as much purely on the scrambles we've seen from running back.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm really impressed with him. Number one, his ability to scramble and extend plays with his legs. Really, really talented. I think he's got a great feel for the game. I think when you look at quarterbacks that hurt you with their feet, they just have this sixth sense, when they're back in the pocket. And, him being able to see windows to escape in. He's in yards right now, he's their leading rusher. And then some of those are by design quarterback runs, as you mentioned, but a lot of it's by quarterback scrambles as well, right? So that's a challenge in the pass game. And in the run game, all the different ways that they use him to run the football. Quarterback design, quarterback draws, let everybody get into pass coverage. And it's kind of delayed quarterback draw, really good with that. And he's really good with the ball in the perimeter. He'll pull the ball in the perimeter. So we have to be just sound in what we do. We always have to have enough people. Defense comes down to a numbers game, and when he gets the ball on the perimeter in the design quarterback run game, you have to make sure that you have enough people for that. So it's a challenge, and but we're working on figuring out how to do all that right now. But he's a tough guy to corral for sure.
Gene, Mac was saying, it's sort of along the same lines with getting more guys on the defensive line and playing more people and having them experience success when they're in there. You were saying when you get Keyshawn Silver 10 snaps, or you get KBJ or Cowlin, these guys make a play here or there that, I guess it just feeds what feels like maybe some positive, I guess what I'm saying is you see some positive momentum developing there, aside from the right technique and the right X and O stuff. Do you see a positive feeling developing more and more maybe for your defense, particularly like the defensive line guys?
I do. I feel like guys, you mentioned Jacoby Cowan. I mean, this guy's been a huge part of our dime package with pass rush. He's done a great job. And the more guys we can get in and the more guys that can be on the field when good things happen, of course it breeds confidence. And these guys, they love playing the game. Unfortunately, you can only play 11 at a time, and we have a lot of defensive linemen. So the challenge for us is to make sure that we, put the right guys on the field all the time at the right time, when the games are on the line, and games are on the line every week for us, right? So getting those guys in at the right time, having a really good balance of the rotation where we keep fresh bodies out there, and then making sure that we have pass rushers on the field when it's time to pass rush, and make sure that we have run stoppers on the field. We just talked about the goal line stuff, right? Those type of guys, and being able to mix and match those situations with those bodies. But I feel like slowly but surely our defensive line is getting more confident, and more guys are playing, and we need to play them more, and they need to be productive when they're in there if they're going to continue to play. So it's happening slowly but surely, and we hope that it continues to grow in the second half of the season for sure.
Gene, you've coached in this rivalry before. Have you been talking to some of the new guys and some of the younger guys like Jacoby, Travis, Keyshawn about the intensity that's going to be in the stadium? Back was saying that there's fewer than 1,000 tickets left in Durham. Have you been talking to them about the atmosphere that's going to be there?
Well, I think they know what the intensity is going to be like. Obviously, yesterday was more of a cleanup day with what we needed to do better moving forward after watching the game film. We talked a little bit about Duke. We hadn't had a chance at that point to really watch them a lot, but those conversations are definitely going to happen tomorrow and throughout the week. They need to know the importance of the rivalry. They need to know this is a different Duke team than maybe people have seen before. Now, look, I haven't been here and I haven't watched them in the last several years, but this is a very good football team. They're physical. They're very well coached. Speaking from the offensive side, that's all I've watched, but and they've got some talented players at positions that matter. And so this is a huge challenge for us. This is going to be a really, really tough, very physical football game from our standpoint. Just when you watch their offensive line, those guys work well together. They're really good. And when you got a quarterback that can do what their quarterback can do, it's challenging. So our guys will know. They'll know the importance of the rivalry. They'll know the importance of the game. And they ought to, that's why they come to college to play in huge games like this, right? So they'll understand the intensity of the rivalry.
Gene, is it fun? Might not be the right word, but it was enjoyable. Just the goal line stand.
For you?
There, we were saying, look at the different personalities you got in. I mean, you had all those defensive linemen, the two jacks. I think you only have one DB. You had Cam Kelly in there. You had Harple Road in there with Cedric and Power. I mean, it was kind of just a cute little thing to watch. For you, when you're going about.
How cute was it? Was it kid?
Wasn't Chris Collins in the 4-point stance as well?
Yeah,
I've heard it called a lot of things, but never cute. But anyway, I get your point. Yes, a lot of different guys. It's a melting pot of dudes in there, right?
It is a melting pot.
It is.
Much like America. But when you're going about getting that personnel together, I guess I'm saying, is that a fun thing to do? To be like, all right, when we have goal line, how many big bodies can we get in here? Just like What is that process like for you as a coach? I guess fun might not be the right word.
It's interesting. We have a lot of conversations about, obviously when you're in that portion of the field, things aren't going well, right? So you have to make sure that you have the right mix and match of guys down there. So yeah, you're pulling from every position group, and sometimes, when you're down guys at one position or another, it's a next man up mentality, right? So, we don't have a lot of linebackers right now, and Hark stepped in and did a great job. We took all the corners off the field and we put a safety in there, and he became a linebacker, so to speak. Then you have all the big bodies up front that you got to put in there and making sure that they don't get moved off the ball. So it's just a mix and match of guys that, based on that week, what you think you're going to have to defend, who are the guys that need to be out there. So I don't know that fun is the word, but you have to get semi-creative in what you're doing and who you're putting out there for sure.
Because then Noah Taylor's covering a guy on fourth down. Right?
That's right. And we, believe it or not, we actually, the last week, we put that personnel grouping on the field, and we made up plays because we didn't have a lot of that personnel grouping from Miami. We made up plays in the pass game so that they'd all keep their eyes on their coverage. We just made them up. And it came down to the 4th and 2, and they actually ran one that was similar. So that was interesting as well. But yeah, they did a great job, and everybody did their job, and that's defense, right? So they executed, and I showed them yesterday. I showed them the 4-play stand, and when everybody's doing their job the way it's designed to do, that's when defense works, and that was at a critical time, so it was huge.
Who made it up?
We just kind of drew up some routes and made some things up as coaches, and just gave them different possibilities, so it wasn't the exact same thing, but it was definitely in the ballpark.
Gene, Mike talked about being close in pass rush, like if the coverage holds just a little bit, how close you guys are getting to the quarterback. When do you see that kind of going in your favor?
Like actually getting sacks?
Yeah, how close is close?
We were close a lot Saturday. We were close a lot. We got to tighten our coverage up. I feel like we did a lot of good things, but I feel like we did a lot of things that we've got to clean up and get better in terms of coverage. Some of them, they make a great throw and a great catch, right? They run a wheel on said. It's a running back on a linebacker. They make a great throw and catch. All those things are going to happen. We get that. But there's also things that we didn't execute well, that if we would have, held the coverage for a split second longer, the pass rush was there. He was throwing off his back foot and throwing under duress probably a good 6 or 7 times and still got the ball off, where if the coverage is a little bit tighter, 3 of those could be sacks. So we got a lot to clean up back there in terms of that. They threw it 52 times, and they're going to complete some balls, but entirely too much yards, entirely too many explosive plays, just unacceptable. And again, it's going back, every week trying to figure out what part of the defense we have to get better at and fix, and that's definitely one of them, because if that does happen, to your point, I feel like we have, 5 sacks instead of the 2 or 3 we had.
Gene, Gene Boykins really has showed up every week. Do you think his play is contagious? And also, has he earned more respect from upperclassmen or other players in the locker room?
Yeah, he's got the full respect of everybody on our team because of, A, the way he plays, but more importantly, or as importantly, the way he prepares. I remember last week, it's probably 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody's gone. We hear some noise down there on the second floor. That's him and somebody else in there watching film by themselves, just talking through stuff. He loves the game. He loves to prepare. He loves to play. His play is showing up. The reps are carrying over. He's tough. I mean, he loves the game, and he's just a tough dude. So he has a respect of everybody in the locker room, and the way he plays, the way he loves the game. He just loves football, and that's why we love being around guys like that, because to your point, it absolutely becomes contagious when other guys see those things. We good?
All right, thanks, Coach.
Y'all have a great day, guys.
Appreciate it.